Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Messaging, Digital Engagement, and Media Training for the No Kings Actions this Saturday, October 18th. We're going to give it a minute for folks to join in from the waiting room. Thank you so much for joining. We are going to start just here 1 minute. Thank you so much for joining the Messaging, Digital Engagement, and Media Training for the No Kings Actions this Saturday, October 18th. If folks want, let's go ahead, jump in the chat. Tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're logging in from and where you're watching from. I know we have folks from all over the world joining today as we gear up for the second No Kings Actions. There are over 2,700 events globally, obviously, with the majority of those here in our 50 states. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We're going to get started here in 1 minute. Awesome. Oh, I saw Saratoga Springs. Shout out Saratoga Springs. Saw that in the chat. Um, Thank you everyone for joining. My name is Unic. I am here today to lead us through a messaging, digital engagement, and media training workshop for the No Kings Actions on Saturday, October 18th. We're so excited. This is the second of two trainings we've held. In the first one, we were able to talk to thousands of folks across the country who are going to be engaging media in their local communities this Saturday. We'll be posting on social media, using digital media, as well as how to talk to reporters, how to tell your story. All of that we'll walk through today. I first just want to say, today's session is going to be recorded. If there's anything you want to review or go back through, it's going to be posted on YouTube. It's going to be online. Please use the Q&A function at the bottom, and you guys can go to the next slide. Please use that Q&A function at the bottom if you have any questions, and upvote the questions you have throughout the training tonight. We are going to be answering some of your questions as time allows to be able to get to them. And we have a few moderators who will try to answer those questions in the chat as well. Obviously, everything we're talking about tonight, everything we're sharing today, we will follow up with an email and all materials will be sent to you. So don't worry, whatever we have, you will get it in English and in Spanish, making sure you have what you need to have the most successful event this Saturday with No Kings. I do first want to turn it over to one of the partner organizations of No Kings, longtime partner, Public Citizen. Their co-president, Lisa Gilbert, is here to introduce and kick us off for this media training. Lisa?
Thanks so much, Unic. And let me also add my thanks to everyone for joining us for tonight's training. As Unic said, I'm Lisa Gilbert, co-president of Public Citizen. For anyone unfamiliar, Public Citizen is a consumer and democracy organization with over 1 million members and supporters. Our mission is to take on corporate power. I'm so grateful to you all for taking the time to join us for tonight's conversation. Not only are you participating as leaders in the No Kings National Day of Peaceful Action coming up this weekend, but you've joined tonight to think with us about how to tell our individual and collective No Kings stories. This training is geared towards that goal. Joining tonight are No Kings events hosts and those you've recruited to support media and social media outreach specifically. We know your No Kings events planning is well underway. We've only got 4 days remaining until the big day, and we need to make sure that your communities show up. Tonight, we're going to take you through ways to talk to your local No Kings events, talk to traditional reporters and media outlets, and on your social media channels. Before we get into it, I just want to take a minute to acknowledge that these are really trying times. If you all are anything like me, you're feeling lots of big feelings all of the time. We are watching a massive, terrifying increase in authoritarian behavior by this administration. We're seeing them detain people for political positions. We're seeing them threaten judges. We're seeing them attack the media, come at universities and nonprofits, arrest a sitting member of Congress for doing oversight of ICE, militarize cities without cause, defy our courts, and unfortunately, so much more. But movements like this and nights like tonight and days like what we all have coming up this Saturday are what fill me with hope. Right now, thousands of us are uniting to support events on October 18th, where millions of us will join together to make clear to President Trump that we don't do dictators or kings in America. And when I say millions are coming together, I mean millions of regular people like you and me, people who love America, people who love freedom, people who love their friends and their neighbors. And that's precisely why you're protesting and why this is all so important. Peaceful protest is one of the most patriotic things that we can do as Americans. Period. No matter what people like President Trump or Speaker Johnson or anyone else has to say about it. Honestly, their reaction and their attempt to blame their shutdown on us shows just how scared they really are. No Kings is a peaceful movement and it is filled with hope. It's about protecting the very foundation of our democracy and ensuring that power always stays with the people. As the Trump administration continues to attack us, our rights, and our freedoms, we are going to continue to rise up with a single voice to push back against all of these authoritarian power grabs that we have been seeing. We're going to continue to stand together to peacefully and relentlessly support each other and our broader communities, because that is what we all do as Americans. Full stop. As field hosts, I've been so proud to be in unity with you all. You've all heard about all of our resources that we have for creating your events, for making sure that everyone stays safe, and so much more. But today, we're going to talk explicitly about how we can most effectively tell all of our stories, whether through traditional media, social media, or more likely through both. Coming together and sharing stories is precisely what will help transform our country into a place where we are all free and safe and equal. So, again, let me just say how thrilled I am to be here with you all tonight. We're going to move now into the meat of the training to discuss how exactly you all can do this kind of storytelling. And I want to turn it over to the consummate experts on this, the folks leading the training tonight, the great team from E&O and Co, Unic, Jan, and Kate. So back to you, Unic.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for all of the work you're doing heading in and all the work Public Citizen is doing heading into Saturday, October 18th, which will be the single largest day of action against the Trump regime in history. This is going to be the largest protest we have ever seen in our country. Over 2,700 events. Millions of people will be turning out in every state, in nearly every county, in nearly every corner of our country. This is going to be such a show of everyone coming together saying, we don't do kings, we don't do dictators, this country is about the people. So, in telling our stories, I want to make sure we're understanding the narrative in this moment and the way we want to tell our stories in this moment. Because if there's nothing else you leave here today with, the most important message you have is you, why you're showing up. The most important thing you can share with any reporter or any social media person you might come across at one of these protests is the reason why. Why did you come here today? Why did you show up on October 18th? That is the story we want to tell. And as he escalates his authoritarian power grabs and as rumors fly and as lies fly from the other side, we're here saying we are showing up peacefully. We're showing up in this nonviolent movement, continuing to rise stronger because we're united once again to say America has no kings. So, how do we talk about the No Kings movement? There's a lot of language here. You have so many toolkits you can pull from and so many things you can read and review and have in your back pocket. But the most important thing from this is that this No Kings is a peaceful movement of millions. This is not one town. This is not one city. This is not even one city block. This is a movement across the country, uniting us from corner to corner, coming together under this one umbrella. And we're organizing and we're taking the action to defend not only each other, but our communities. We're demanding dignity and we're saying enough of the power grabs. Now, there's a lot that's happened even the last 2 weeks. You might have seen that the government's been shut down now for 2 weeks. You may have seen that they are blaming No Kings for this government shutdown. You may have seen that they are blaming everyone but themselves. But at the end of the day, we know what is true. We know that the reason why we're coming out is because of everything that has happened since January. We know the reason why we're showing up on October 18th this Saturday is because of everything they continue to do, from abducting our neighbors off the streets, from slashing Medicaid Medicaid and Medicare, from attacking trans people. We want to make sure we're telling the stories of everyone who has suffered direct harm from this administration. That's why we're taking to the streets this Saturday, and that's why your story is so important to uplift these messages to the media and on social media. You So when we talk about specifically the power belongs to the people, we just say again and again, the most foundational statement we can say about our country is that America has no kings. That was the founding term. Those are the founding terms of our country. That's not a radical term. That's not a term that anybody should disagree with. That is the foundation of how we have gotten here today. This country does not belong to those rulers or to billionaires. It belongs to us. And us coming together in this peaceful protest on this day, on Saturday, October 18th, is exactly why we're defending it. There is a reason why so many people are coming out. There's a reason why we're all coming together. We all have a common thread here. We all have a common story of why we're coming together, and that's the story we want to tell. We also want to say, we also want to make sure we are explicitly saying that we reject authoritarian rule. That's very important. Language matters in this moment. Like I said, abducting immigrants, deploying troops into our streets, silencing voters, defying courts, attacking people for who they are, who they love, attacking people based on the zip code or their economic status. Those are the reasons why we reject authoritarian rule. And this dictatorship, and yes, it's a dictatorship in action, and together we reject it. Those are powerful words, and language matters. We also want to say, while we reject authoritarian rule, we ain't going nowhere. We're here to stay, and we're going to continue to take to the streets as many times as possible to make this heard and known for months to come. We'll keep growing, we'll keep building, and we'll continue to reject the attacks on our communities. We're not going anywhere. And I now want to turn that over to Jan, who's going to talk through how to take that frame, how to take your story, how to take this narrative, and make sure you're telling your story through digital and social media channels.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I am super excited. I'm super pumped. I see everyone from all parts of our country. Let's go. No Kings, October 18th. I hope you guys are as pumped as I am. Look, in this moment, this is our moment. This is our story to tell. So we get to tell it the way that we want to tell it. I see folks out here from Virginia, from Pennsylvania, from Brooksville, from New York, from all these places. Kansas City, that's my grandma's hometown. Mississippi from the South, way to represent. So happy that you're all here. We're telling a collective story on Saturday. We're going to take that story and keep telling it until everyone hears it and understands that America, we don't do kings. Next slide, please. Let's get into this. So, leading up to the event, you guys have been receiving a ton of emails with prep materials, promotional materials, with social media graphics, talking points, hashtag examples, day of reminders, so many things. But I have to tell you, you're going to get more stuff as we get closer to the day because so many things are happening and coming together. And we want to make sure that everyone is informed. So make sure that you are checking your email often, especially the day before and the morning of, and periodically throughout the day if you can. We are providing a number of sample emails, but make sure that your attendees, the people coming to your event, that they are actually getting from you very important information about your location, about where folks are meeting up, about any security stuff that you might have going on. And then the other thing I want to just make sure everyone does is save and download anything you need. Wi-Fi could be spotty, so just be prepared. Next slide, please. So I mentioned that, we've sent around a promotional toolkit to help you all in terms of promoting your event within your communities. So we've dropped that link here. Make sure that you save it. We will also be sending it out after this meeting. It's also posted on the nokings.org website. So there are a number of ways for you to get that link. So in the toolkit, I like to say this, if you build it, they will come, but you still have to tell them about it. So promoting your No Kings event is vital. We need to get everyone in your towns out there, everyone that believes that America is not a place for kings. We need them at your event. We need to show the strength of our movement, and that starts with all of you getting folks out to your event. We have sample emails, as I've mentioned. We also have sample media, social media posts. We also have sample media and press releases, which Kate will talk with you all about a little bit later. One of the things that we have added into your promotional toolkit, which I'm super excited about, are some really good posts from our celebrity supporters and our big influencers that are out there. So you all will also be able to have some more like really rich content to lift up and share with your supporters to help push the word out. Next slide, please. I believe in open communication. I believe in a lot of communication. So make sure that your attendees are informed. People want to know what they're getting into. They want to know what to expect. And you all are going to be the ones that are holding that information for your group. So make sure that you're out there sending it to them. The other thing, as you are communicating with people coming to your event, find your volunteers, like people that can help out. We're like 4 days away, right? So people that can help out with any last minute things that you might have, people that might, have some media experience that can, take on doing some of that media outreach for you. Or, even people that just like to just throw their hands into something and they really want to do something that day. Find them. They're there. People are hungry to do something right now. And then, of course, you want to make sure that people know that your event is going to be safe and secure. So you want to just make sure that you're reinforcing that with everyone. Next slide, please. Also, before the event, get social. Like, use your own channels, encourage the people that have signed up to come to your event to use their channels, to invite their friends, to invite their family, to invite their cousins from out of town, whatever they need to do. We want people spreading the word about No Kings. Even if they're not coming to your event specifically, make sure that they're going to an event. We have over 2,500 events happening across the country on Saturday. So people can find a place to go. Just make sure you're sharing it. Also, in the toolkit, we have our partner accounts for you all to follow in case you don't know their handles. And we also have very specific hashtags that folks can use, hashtag No Kings. And then for your specific city, we will get into that. Next slide, please. As I said, be on the lookout for people that are ready to volunteer. I love a good social media volunteer because, like, let's be honest, we're all just like one person. We can't just capture everything that's happening at every event, but you have people on the ground that have their phones in their hands, right? So utilize them, deputize them as your social media person that day. It'll be a lot of fun. And also, you're going to capture stuff that you didn't even get a chance to see. So we really want to do that. They don't need fancy gears, just their phones and a couple of our talking points and the hashtags that we're using. So all of that, again, is in your promotional toolkit, which you can share with your media folks and your social media folks that are helping you out. Next slide, please. So one of the things that I think is really, really, really important to remember is that when you post matters as much as what you post. So, just kind of think about before the event, let's post, let's build some energy. Let's make sure that people are seeing it. The morning of the event, the morning of October 18th, is also a really good opportunity to do some last minute recruitment. Even if people aren't signed up, maybe they'll still show up, which is great too, right? Like, you don't have to, RSVP to this party. You can show up and we still want you there. So, make sure that you're still communicating, you're pushing things out on social during the event. And as you're setting things up, make sure that you're capturing that energy with your photos and videos, sharing it out there, getting people engaged. Of course, during the event, document everything. If you can post in real time, great. If you can't, that's not a problem. You can post after. And then, of course, throughout, the week after No Kings, and even as long as we can, we're going to keep this conversation going. Next slide, please. All right. Here's my fun favorite part. This is where we all get to have a little interaction with each other. So the official handle, the official hashtag for our movement is No Kings. But we're going to make it a little more interesting for everyone. We want you to also put your city after No Kings in your hashtag. So it's going to be hashtag No Kings and then the name of your city. No space or anything like that. For my folks out there who have a twin, if your city has a twin in a different state, go ahead and put your state abbreviation behind your city name so there's no confusion. So like, hashtag no kings Pasadena, Texas, or hashtag no kings Pasadena, California. I am going to give y'all a second here to get your hashtags in there, and let's see. Let me see. Okay. All right. No kings LA, Los Angeles. No kings Rochester. You guys are typing so fast. I can't read this fast. No kings Arlington, Virginia. Okay, because there's an Arlington, Texas. Good job. I see that. No kings Warwick. No kings Houston. No kings Dallas. Okay, yes, I love this. This is amazing. Look at this, guys. Look at these hashtags. This is where we're at on Saturday. This is amazing. Can y'all feel that energy? I'm just gonna take a minute, let everybody feel that for a second. Yeah, that feels good. All right. Also key phrases, right? So let's keep it short. Let's keep it sweet, right? We don't want to like everyone to have to like memorize a dissertation or anything. So one of the phrases that we're going to be wanting to use is no thrones, no crowns, no kings. Another one, in America, we don't have wannabe dictators or kings. This is dictatorship in action. We don't accept it in America. America has no kings. Okay, so I know folks are still typing in their hashtags, but let's take one of these phrases that are up here on the screen and incorporate it with your hashtag, and that would be like a social media post. I'll give you all a minute to do that as I sit here and scroll and still shout out like where we have folks coming from. Let's see, no kings Ramona, no kings Jacksonville, Florida, no kings Birmingham, no kings San Antonio, no kings Atlanta. Love it. No kings Portland. Yes, Portland, show up. All right. I love this. Okay. All right. Let's keep moving because I know you guys want to get to I know you guys want to hear about media. So let's talk a little bit about capturing great content and, like also like what to avoid. So when we're out at these protests, if you can jump to the next slide, when you're out at your rallies, I want to make sure that you guys are capturing photos of people holding up signs that are chanting or anything else that's showing this joyful, peaceful, nonviolent resistance. Anything from the stage, if you have speakers at your event, if there are performances or any other key moments that are up there, capture it on photo, get a video. Like, we want to see this is energy that people need to see. We're peaceful, we're full of joy, we believe that our country doesn't have kings, and we're going to make some noise about it, right? Also, again, behind the scenes prep, group selfies, candid interactions, things that show the energy, show your community, show that you all are together, right? This is what this is about. We are together. We are fighting to save our democracy. That's what's going on here. So like, those are the types of photos and videos we want, right? Next slide, please. Okay, there you go. So the other thing that we want to do, we want to keep it positive. We want to keep it people powered, and we want to keep it real. So things that we want to avoid, faces of people without their consent, because let's be real, people don't like that. Also, if people are kind of wary about their children, let's not capture photos of them. Any signs or capturing video of chants that don't align with the No Kings message, we want to kind of keep that a little bit out of the way. Also, photos that feel unsafe, chaotic, or negative. This is peaceful, right? This is nonviolent. This is happy. We do not want the narrative to be anything negative. And then the other big thing, y'all, everyone's listening. So if you have if there are private conversations or off limit areas, please try not to be recording back there. Not everybody wants their business out. So, okay, that is it for me, I think. Yep. So I am going to go ahead and toss it over to Kate. Thank you all again for, letting me take up some of your time on this evening.
I'm going to pop in here super fast because we got a number of questions in the chat, and I just want to pull out some of the questions because they seem to be sort of FAQ. A number of folks are asking about de-escalation and security and safety in all different ways. There's a great training, if you missed it, on the No Kings YouTube channel around that topic. I would highly recommend if you have questions specific to de-escalation and safety and security, go watch that training. It has a lot of really good information on it. Um, Another question we got in the chat is how many people do we anticipate? That's a really big question when you're talking to media. We anticipate millions. We obviously don't know how many until the events happen, but we, based on signups and based on how folks are reacting to this, we do it. It's larger than June. The reaction and the signups and everything else are much larger than where we were this time, the week of June 14th. So we do anticipate millions of people attending this Saturday. Uh, Another person asked if I can't go on the march on the 18th for medical reasons, what else can I do? There are a number of ways you can engage online on the day. If you can't make it out, go check out those resources. There was someone in the chat responded with some resources from Move On. A number of the partners have a lot of resources on what you can do from home that day. We're also going to have an all-day live stream. There's going to be a live stream of multiple cities showing the different events happening across the country. So wanted to also uplift that. And then the last question here that I wanted to uplift, and Jan, I'm going to kick it to you. Someone asked specifically, what other social media than Facebook do you find useful? And wanted to see if you could just share a couple of ideas.
Oh, absolutely. So Instagram is so much fun, which you probably already have. If you have a Facebook, you probably have your Insta connected to that. Blue Sky is a place where we see a lot of Democrats just having a good time. TikTok is always fun if you're on TikTok. Even if you're not, you can always still like look up things and find someone to share something. If you have some other folks that are attending that might have TikTok, they can share for you. And then X, formerly Twitter, is another place in which you can promote and share messages.
Thanks, Jan. We're going to kick it over to Kate, who's going to talk us through how to talk to your local media and how to engage reporters who are going to be talking to you at your incredibly awesome rally.
Thank you so much, Unic and Jan. As I said, I am Kate. I am tuning in with you all from Chicago, and I could not be more excited or appreciative of the work that we're going to be doing together. I am here to talk to you about being a local rally host and how to get local media. I have been in your shoes before, and I want to give you all of the best tips and tricks that some incredible movement leaders have given to me in the past, and now it's my opportunity to share it with you. And I am also just so in love with what we're seeing in this chat right now. I am seeing folks from Washington all the way to New Hampshire, down to the South in Florida and Texas and New Mexico in this chat. And all the way down, I'm pretty sure I saw a couple of folks from Puerto Rico too. We are all over the United States coming together for this. And this is such a big moment. And I can't thank you enough for sharing your energy with all of us tonight in preparation. You all are the hosts that are making this moment even bigger and ensuring that history does not forget the incredible work that we're doing, right? And that's why I want to talk to you about your local rallies and being front and center in your local media, because that is where your librarians are going to be able to keep things in the history of your community, that they're going to be able to pull quotes from you, from your partners, from your community members, from the people who are at your rally to say, yes, in this incredible moment in history, we were there, we were a part of it, and not only that, we led and were in charge that day. This is going to be incredibly important. So, how is this piece a little bit different from what else you've been hearing tonight? Well, I have a couple of goals in mind for what I want to go over with you all. I really want to talk about getting that local media coverage, and by doing that, I want to make sure that you know that your local reporters know how to find you and that they are prepped for you, that they know how to cover your local No Kings Day. And I want to help you not only be with your local media, but make sure that all these messages we've been talking about, the reasons you're coming to No Kings that you've been putting in the chat, The messages we've been talking about today are front and center in your local media. So you are the headline. You have the photos that you want to see in your local media and the quotes that you want to see in the paper. So really in this portion, we're going to be talking about traditional media, but don't forget what Jan just went over with you, because all of the work that you do on social media is a huge part of how we get to having the best media possible. So I'm going to break this down for you in 3 ways. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about what to do before No King's Day. Then we're going to talk about what to do during and after. I've even got a little bit of a job description in here for you for your media manager. So let's jump into this. All right. It's before your No King's Day. And guess what? That's right now. That's tomorrow. That's all the way up until Saturday. And we've got only 4 things for you on your checklist. And really, the number one thing I want you to think about is some of the prep that you can do and where the capacity is for your team to be doing this work with you. So the number one thing that we're going to talk about is I want you to identify your local outlets and reporters. I want you to think about where you can find their emails and phone numbers. So what you're really doing in this first portion is you're building a media list. And really, it can be as brief or as in-depth as you want it to be. I want you to think about the ways that you and the people you know get your news in your local community. Is it your city or county newspapers? Is it TV? Is it radio? I even like to think about my neighborhood's local listserv on Facebook, making sure that they understand about this. And I can send media stuff to them too, so they know and they can continue to spread it. Do you have a Google community group that gets sent out in your communities? Think of all those different kinds of ways that people get to know the work that's going on. The next thing I want you to think about is when you're looking up those places, I want you to think about maybe some of the people who might cover your event. So the way you can find this is you can find your politics or community reporters, or you can find your assignment editors. If you can find their email, that's going to increase your chances of coverage, because we're going to talk about ways that you can contact them ahead of No Kings in the next few days. So with that comes step number 2. I want you to assign some roles before we get to our big day on Saturday. I want you to think about having a social media person that's doing a lot of the work that Jan was just talking about. I want you to think about having a press manager. Again, this role can be as ambitious or a portion of someone's role as you want it to be. And think about who your spokespeople are, right? Spokespeople can be you, it can be others from your community, it can be leaders of local organizations, it can be parents who you have seen have been growing their voice and are ready to speak out about the importance of this moment. It can be elected officials, community leaders, the list goes on. But who are the spokespeople that you're going to be working with in your community on your No King's Day? So I want you to think about those 3 roles. I want you to prep those speakers. I'm going to give you some tips about that too. And again, remember, you have your local talking points, you have your media guide, you have your promotional toolkit. All of that is going to give you the tips and tricks and tools that you need in order to do this work of prepping your speakers and being prepared to do this work. And lastly, and I'll walk you through this too, we're going to talk about sending out a media advisory 2 to 3 days before your event. You can draft this and send it. Again, you can send it tomorrow. You can send it Friday. You can even send a reminder on Saturday morning. What this media advisory is going to do is it's going to just give you an opportunity to let folks know what's going to be going down in your community, because there's lots of No Kings events going on. So make sure they didn't miss yours. All right, so let's talk about what I am thinking the most about. It's kind of a new, really defined job description that we're starting to talk about for rallies and events, right? We want to make sure that your message, your voice is loud and clear, and there's no question that we are not seeing headlines coming from people outside of our movement who may be trying to derail it, right? This administration is taking every crack at us that they can. So let's get our best practices put together for how we can prepare around media. So here's your media manager. I want your media manager to think about a couple things. Before No Kings, step 1, tell press about your event. Find that list. They can introduce themselves over phone, over email. You can send a mass email where you blind copy everyone. Or when you send out your media advisory, it's your press manager that's going to be the person you're going to put at the bottom and say, hey, I'm the one you should contact if you have any questions, if you want to know. Because honestly, think about it. Local reporters are people just like you and me. They have a day job. Their day job is reporting and making sure that news gets out to their communities. They might need help understanding and getting all the context. They might not be movement people like you and I. They might have questions and need help understanding things. Next, during No King's Day, you are going to, as the press manager, introduce yourself to press. They are usually pretty easy to find. They've got their little notepads that they still use and they write down in, or you'll see them with like cameras, or maybe you're giving them press badges, or they come with their own press badge around their neck. There's lots of ways. Or if you're wondering if someone's press, go up, give them your hand, shake it, and say, "Hello, I'm such and such. I'm here helping to host this No Kings event. Are you a reporter?" And what that gives you an opportunity to do as well is not only know who of the media might be at your event, but also to be able to follow up with them after. Did you have a special quote or photos you wanted to make sure to share with them, or making sure they have your No Kings hashtag for your city so that they know where to go for the best content? And then after, you're going to send them a press release. This is an absolute and awesome way to show folks what happened at your event. These events are happening on a Saturday. You're going to have media there, but you're also going to have media who might only see a portion of what's going on. Make sure they get the biggest highlights from all of your day and all of the powerful work that's happened. And so let's talk about these first steps. So what are we doing before? And the biggest thing I want to talk about with this is that media advisory. This might be new to some folks, so let's talk it through. You have a sample media advisory in your toolkit, and I want you to think about three things. A sample media advisory is short and to the point. These are not descriptive. These are not storytelling. This is just giving them the facts. We're meeting, we're gathering together, we're doing it here, we're starting here, maybe we're marching to another point, and here's who's hosting it and how you can contact us for more. Y'all, sometimes these interviewers want to interview you ahead of time to create an article about your event before it happens. That could still happen right now, or they might want to interview you on the news in your local community. We want you to have that opportunity, and a media advisory is the best way for them to know how to get in touch with you, and then for you to connect them with the best people who can speak to them from your spokesperson list. The last thing I want you to think about is this is a way for you to think about like how long these should be, right? Some of us are used to writing academic papers or novels if we enjoy that. This should only be 3 sentences. 1, 2, 3, and then just your contact information. Super simple, super quick. Hey, if you're a multitasker, start writing your media advisory right now and send it out before this ends, right? Some of us can get it done. Some of you can get it done in a few minutes tomorrow morning. But let's consider getting out media advisories so everybody has no question who is running this, how it's happening, and how to get involved with our No Kings events. Okay, y'all. So you're prepped. Let's say you've done all that you need to do before this event. Now let's talk about your message. How do you make sure your message is front and center? Well, one of the biggest things is that digital content that Jan was just talking with us about. Make sure that that is getting out to everyone and that you're sending a press release after. And what I want you to think about too here is how are we preparing our spokespeople? So your message is carried by the voices of the people you are in this movement with. So I want us to think about how we can prepare them best to show up. I don't know about you, but I have to practice. I practiced for this training. I need practice. And that's going to be the same for anyone who's going out and doing interviews for you. Because you know what? Practice makes us prepared for the moment we're going to have these conversations. We want folks to feel good, to say, no thrones, no crowns, no kings, to be ready to do this work. And you know what, y'all? When we're interviewing a lot of times with pros. Those reporters do this every day. This is their 9 to 5. They are prepared and ready with questions for you. And some of those questions might be spot on and you're ready for them, and others might be a curveball because you know what? Maybe that person's used to writing about sports or writing about different things, and they're out on their Saturday to make sure that your story is covered, or they're calling you before or after the event to make sure. So make sure you're prepared to and ready. And like I said, these reporters are everyday people who are ready to do this. And it might sometimes feel like they are in charge, but I want you to talk about the fact too, or think about really, you're in charge. This is your event. This is your message that they're eager to cover. This is our movement that we are making sure is front and center because this is history that we're making. This is a fight for democracy that cannot be forgotten. This is your moment. So I want to talk a little bit about a trick a lot of reporters use to trip us up and prevent us from giving them the best message that we can and the message we want them to understand, which is the one from our heart and our stories. And that's one that's gotten me a couple times, and that is silence. A reporter is trained to ask you a question, sit back, and wait. And I don't know about you, but I get nervous when there's a camera put in front of me. I will fill that space. And so, what I want you to remember is that you're in charge. Take your time. If you get asked a question and you want to take a deep breath, you want to think about how you're going to answer, take your time. And when you're satisfied with your answer, that's when you stop. Your answer can be one sentence, it can be one story, it can be many things. So I want you to think about what feels best to you. Take that time, be in charge, and let them tell you when it's time for the next question. And don't be scared to give them the silence right back. You can give them a moment to think about what they want to ask you next and move on. The next thing I want to say about that too is they might dive right in. They might be like, "Oh, well, why this or that?" Or, "Hey, did you hear about what's happening in this other city?" as their first interview question to you. Remember, you're in charge. What they ask you isn't actually what's as important as you getting the message out there that you want to ensure people know. So, my third thing for you is say your most important message first. Why are you out here? Why are your people out here? If you could have one headline, what would that headline say? And no matter what their question is, you can say, "Hey, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. I'm Kate, and I want to tell you this first, that we are out here as a peaceful movement of people from our community because there are no kings in America. And we are here to show that it's the people who are in power." No matter what question they ask, that is a great answer because that is an answer that shows your truth. And you can make that whatever is right for you. So remember, no matter what they ask you, your message is first. And the reason I have this last one on here, keep it short and sweet. We're not getting interviewed by Katie Couric. We're not getting interviewed and sat down for a 60 minutes, right? We are going to be a powerful pop in the media, maybe on your front pages, maybe as a headliner in your news, and they're going to take short clips. You can give a 5-minute interview, you can give a 1-minute interview. Most likely, the thing they're going to take is one sentence. So think about what you want that one sentence to be and lead from there, right? Because everything else you're going to give is context, and that's phenomenal, but make sure that it is your moment, your sentence, the thing you want to make sure that they know that you're getting out there. And the best way to do that is to respond with the message that is most important to you, and then take a deep breath and take your time and wait for your next question. You all are going to do great in preparing your spokespeople. I am sure of it. And I'm really excited for you all to keep doing this. And I want to give you just one more type of tricks to prepare your spokespeople with. And that is something that you're probably getting already. I don't know about you, but I have family and friends who are already asking me tricky questions. I am prepared for reporters because I have kind and caring people in my community who are maybe asking questions that feel confusing, or they've heard things from the opposition and they want to better understand. If you get tricky questions from folks, remember that this is an opportunity to bring them back to their values and your values. Why are you here? You can always and forever refer them to media to nokings.org when it is a media reporter or a news outlet. You can always be like, "Great, I'd love to have coffee with you sometime," if it's a community member, right? And have a larger conversation. But when you're at your No Kings, before or after, and your goal is to get your local media to understand why you're here, don't take the time to fall into their bait of answering their tricky questions. Bring it back to your message and your why of why you're here. I love these transition opportunities we have. You know what? What's really important is he's using our tax dollars for his power grabs. That's why we're out here. Our core concern that brings us out today is that we're united against kings, and this dictatorship has gone too far. Our bottom line is that we are out here to say no thrones, no crowns, no kings. Your spokesperson can make every sentence count. So, no matter the question, they are giving you another opportunity to say your truth and what's right there for you. Okay, you have prepped your spokespeople, you have your media advisory out, you maybe are getting calls from media for pre-interviews or interviews to do during or after. And now we're going to talk about what to do during your No Kings Day. All right, we had 4 things to do to start. And again, that's all in your promotional toolkit. Now we have things to do during No Kings Day. Confirm your roles. Who's your social media person? Who is your press manager? Who are your spokespeople? Are they feeling good, prepared? Do they want a little bit more practice with you? And now you're going to post. Make sure everyone's getting out using your city hashtags. This is another opportunity for y'all. I want to see them flooding that local chat box that we have. What is your local hashtag that you're going to tell reporters if you want social media as this is going on, if you want posts that are coming straight from our community and us, what are you going to send them? All right, I'm seeing it coming in. This is awesome. That's right. Hashtag no kings, your state. This was a test, and you are doing it correctly. Hashtag no kings, your city. If you have a city that also has another one, like Durham, New Hampshire, or Durham, North Carolina, you're going to do hashtag no kings, Durham, NC, or NH, or like Pasadena. And you are getting it in there. That's right. So all of your local media is going to be able to go there to get all of your community posts that are not only from y'all, but also from the people who are in attendance. So make sure you're posting, 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 and using those hashtags. Next, of course, you're going to offer reporters interviews with your spokespeople. You go right up to them, and they'll usually say yes, like we've been saying this whole time. Reporters are people. They want to know who are great people to talk to. They want to know who's out here, who's passionate, and who has a story that they are inspired and excited to tell. I love going up to reporters because you can almost kind of sometimes see a bit of relief. Oh, thank goodness. I'm going to get a little bit of help understanding what's going on here and who I can talk to. It's a great opportunity for both of you. All right. And now let's pretend you have done it. Your No King's Day event has happened. It has been a peaceful, beautiful, charged, powerful event. Congratulations, hosts. This is incredible. And congratulations, press managers, because you've done such good work to bring people around. Now you just have a few more things to do to tie the bow on this and make sure everybody's ready. You are going to review your social media with your social media person, and you're going to look at what's your most powerful content, your most powerful photos or videos, and they're already posted online, so you have links to them. And you're going to gather a couple of links, and you're going to add them to a post-event press release. Just like the media advisory, you already have a press release draft that you can use from your toolkit. So don't forget to go and look at that. So you're going to gather those social media content links, you're going to edit a press release, and you're going to send it out. And that press release should have words about how beautiful, how powerful, how important, and how amazing this was. It should also include a couple of quotes from your event. You can send it out within the last hour, minutes, a little bit farther into the evening if you need to take a moment and have some water after your beautiful event. But make sure to get it out, and don't forget, send it to us too. We want to see the beauty from your own voices of how incredible your event went. So help send, we want to get thousands of these from everyone across the country. Send your press release to events@nokings.org as well. So now you are prepared and ready. You've got your before, your during, your after. You know how to prepare your spokespeople. You're going to be building great relationships with reporters in your communities that you can talk to throughout everything that's going on and all of the fights that are important. You are going to become go-to people to help understand the movement of our communities in this moment. So thank you so much for doing this. I am going to pass it to you, Nick, to talk about What comes next? How do we keep the momentum going?
Hey everyone. So before I jump into keeping the momentum going, I just want to answer a couple of more questions. You guys are great at asking a lot of questions. I'm really, really excited. There have been more questions around the safety and security trainings. Again, those are on the YouTube channel, so definitely go there. Um, I also wanted to uplift, there were some questions around the lies that have been told over the last week. If you haven't seen, I'm sure you have, there are other folks who think that America should have a king. There are factions in this country who think that we should have a dominant ruler. We and the majority and the hypermajority of this country disagree with that. And we believe that America has no kings. But of those lies and of those unfactual statements that have been sort of lauded out there and sort of thrown around in the media, whether it's no kings is to blame for the government shutdown or whether it's no kings is just a bunch of paid protesters, the way I would recommend and how you want to talk back about those issues, because those are the questions that were in the chat, how you want to answer those questions is with the truth. We know none of us are paid to be in the streets and protest an authoritarian regime. We know none of us are to blame for a government shutdown. We know none of us are to blame for the actions of the White House, the House, and the US Senate. It is a trifecta Republican rule. If they wanted to end it, they would. If they wanted to do it, they would, and they're not. So you can respond to any of that rhetoric, any of those tricky questions, any of those tough questions. If you come across someone who's really trying to do a gotcha interview, I know those are concerns as you go into these protests and speak to media. That is a great way for you to respond, is with the truth and the story of why you're there. Because we know personally exactly the reason why we're all showing up. We know personally exactly the reason what's bringing us here today, and no one can undo our truth. So I just wanted to answer that question first, Kate, before going to that next slide of continuing the momentum. So after your Kings events, again, share your favorite moments on social. It's been said a lot. Make sure that hashtag is all one word, no spaces, so we can track it and we can see it here. Thank the people who came, highlight your wins, uplift the key posts, and tag others you met. You're going to meet a lot of new people on Saturday. Make sure you connect on social media. Make sure you start to follow each other and share content with each other to keep the momentum going. The movement doesn't end on October 18th. A lot of questions around when is the next one. Love it. Love the ask. We don't know. We're focused on Saturday, so we are focused on the 18th. But the voice, your voice helps to carry No Kings forward, and definitely check out and look out in your email for what is to come. Next slide. In your promotional toolkit, I saw a few folks saying they haven't received the toolkit. It's on the No Kings website. So if you haven't received it by email, go to the No Kings website. It's there as well. There are sample social media posts, talking points that we spoke about today, the event attendees emails, the sample press release and advisory and media advisories. Everything you need to hold an event is there. We're not trying to have 2,700 host leads all recreate the same thing. We wanted to put it in one place for you. So be able to take this and customize it to your needs for your community and what you're holding. Another question that's come up, I want to address it. This week, No Kings came out and said, we wanted a unity signifier. We wanted that no matter the city location you looked at, if you saw a certain color, you knew that color to be a unifying color. It's a powerful symbol. We have seen similar things across the globe, in Asia, in Europe, in South America, places where folks have fought against authoritarian regimes, fought against dictators. There always comes a moment where folks start to wear a symbol and a unifying signal that says, I am part of this movement for peace. I am part of this movement that is against fascism. I am part of this movement that is against dictators. That is powerful in and of itself. And we have come together and said, let's all wear yellow on Saturday. If you can't, that's okay too. You can still show up. It is just an idea as we continue to move forward in this collective resistance and this collective movement against the Trump regime. We wanted to make sure that we uplifted this ahead of Saturday. So it's a long served, powerful symbol in nonviolent resistance, which is what we are doing here on Saturday, what we did on June 14th. Choosing yellow, no kings aligns with our movement in this historical context that I named. There's a lot of information online about it. We've posted it on social media if you want to share it to your channels. There's a lot of great graphics in the toolkit and other points you can utilize. So just wanted to uplift that. You can go to the next slide, Kate, as we think about what we want to wear. It's a bright and powerful symbol. So wearing it, wonderful. If you can't, no problem. That's all right too. Just an idea. So wanted to say that because I know there were a lot of questions, but also because this is something new. This is something we haven't done before. And I think it's a really, really powerful way for us to show unity, no matter if you're on a rural neighborhood, a city block, no matter where you're coming in from, when you see the pictures and you see everyone coming underneath the red umbrella, and also like maybe an inflatable animal. I think that's really cool tool. Hat tip to Portland on all the inflatable animals we're seeing over there. So I want to then now open it up to a couple of more questions as we round out the night here. Let me just open up my Q&A. Give me one second. Great question here. How do we respond to Trump supporters who don't understand why we object to Trump as a wannabe king? 100%. I think this is a question we get a lot. Engage them in friendly conversation. Again, say your truth, say your story. Have the conversation of why you're there today. I think that a lot of times it's just a lack of information. I think folks, if they understood what it meant to have a regime like this, what it meant to have these authoritarian power grabs and how it's affecting you, folks would begin to understand the why behind millions coming out and turning out at protests like No Kings. Just sorry, going through this real quick. A lot of questions around this training. Yes, it will be on the YouTube page. There will be a recording of it posted. Great. Another person, I'm a professional videographer and will be at the protest. Who would I need to contact to share footage with the organization? Any credentials needed? Media@nokings.org is a great email to send any footage you have that you want to share with the coalition for their usage. All No Kings protests are taking place on public property, so you are allowed to film it without credentials. If you want to coordinate with the organizer, you can always try to shoot them a note through the Mobilize page for that event and try to get in touch with them, or show up day of and try to find that media person there to engage them and coordinate together. A couple folks asking about route plans. We don't have those and those aren't shared, but definitely get to your site early if you're curious about which direction protests will march in. And yes, we have all materials are in English and in Spanish. Again, those materials are on the website. The YouTube channel is also shared in the Q&A if you're looking for it. I'm not sure if someone wants to drop it in the chat for everybody. I think we answered all of the questions. And I want to thank everyone. There's a couple of questions here, but we'll get them by email. I want to thank everyone for joining this evening. We're at time, so I can't keep diving through, but I want to thank everyone here for joining this evening. Saturday is going to be a beautiful, peaceful day of resistance against the Trump regime. And I just really appreciate everyone for coming together, joining this training, taking what Saturday will be, and taking it so seriously, because we know we're going to be bringing together hundreds and thousands of people at every location, and it's going to be a powerful symbol of resistance. So thank you all so much, and we will see you on Saturday. Thanks, y'all.